name is Gina Helvie, and I am the managing jack of all trades here at Trinket. We're just a basic breakfast restaurant with local ingredients and trying to just kind of take the basics and step it up a little bit. So, you know, duck eggs on our Eggs Benedict and little things like that. I think I made hollandaise the first time when I was like 10 years old, and it was something we had every Christmas morning. I was a latchkey kid, so we would come home from school and cook ourselves something, you know, which sometimes got kind of inventive against my mom's desires, but cooking with family, we cooked every weekend. So we did a Sunday family dinner because my mom worked in restaurants in the evenings the rest of the week. So on Sunday, we would cook all day and then eat one meal together. There's one thing that I can't get here, but it's not something, well, I've made it now, but it's not something we made as a kid, but malfatti, which is like it's actually Italian-American because they started making it in Napa, where I'm from. And it's like a spinach and veal dumpling that you simmer and then like you boil like you would a pasta, and then eat it with tomato sauce and Parmesan cheese. That's something that's like definitely reminds me of home for sure. Something that my mom made regularly was cream chip beef. So, which is, it's gross, but it's basically like gravy, you know, it's like a white gravy with sliced roast beef, and we would eat it with cornmeal pancakes. You cook it with flour and a little milk and Worcestershire and salt and pepper, and then, you know, just like classic cornmeal pancakes. It's been such a long road. It's interesting, I started bussing tables when I was 16, like as soon as I could drive, I worked in Napa Valley until I was 17, and then I moved here and actually I went to culinary school. And I pretty much knew as soon as I started working in restaurants that I wanted to cook. That was kind of the height of the television chef boom, so to speak, and I wanted to follow that dream, of course. I thought I could do it. It looked really fun, and so I moved here and went to culinary school and worked in a lot of fine dining kitchens with, you know, really fine diced things and, you know, very proper etiquette, very clean stations and all of that stuff, long hours and bad chefs, bad attitudes, I should say. This place I wanted to kind of just be the simple, delicious food. Because what I learned in going to culinary school and all of that was that it's all basically smoke and mirrors. Like it's not, it's just food at the end of the day, and we need it to live, and so it doesn't have to be, you know, a 6-hour experience. It can also just be sustenance. My advice would be don't open 7 days a week, and do something that a food that you really love, that you want to share with people. That has been the benefit for me, is that I really love this meal period. Like I really love the food that I do because it's simple, and as far as making it like a feasible job, don't burn out. It's really easy to push yourself further than is really necessary because your pride is on the line and your business is on the line and things like that. But really, the joy that you have when you go to work is more important, and that'll come through to your customers and eventually show up in your bank account. You know, being a sober person in the restaurant industry it's really easy to feel like on the outside. I definitely don't, you know, some places have like a no proof menu, but if they don't offer those things, they don't want to make special drinks for you always, you know? So I'm pleased to be a part of it, and I'm really happy to see the shift in the way restaurants are approaching that, because it's always, you know, it's always been appropriate for a shot and a beer or 2 shots and a beer, you know? So the other side of that coin, me asking for something not on the menu that's also, you know, that without alcohol. It's really good to see the shift in the culture around restaurants. That when I got sober, I wasn't certain that I was going to be able to maintain this job and still work in this restaurant. And luckily I have been able to. And then I was introduced to all of these other people that are also working and running businesses and staying sober, and excelling in their field. And that kind of shifted my perception of what a successful restaurant person looked like. Everything kind of shifted, and it was like, oh, I don't fit into this restaurant family that I've always been a part of. And it's basically, I moved here when I was 17, and I always was in restaurants. So it's all I've ever known was that kind of excess. There is a balance, and it's taken a long time to get there. Mostly it's because of the staff that I have in place. And learning how to trust the people I have around me in order to step away. And it's kind of funny, the main thing that had to happen in order for me to step away and have some free time was just to do it. And then once I took a week off, then I was like, oh, the restaurant didn't burn down, then it made it a lot easier to do the second time. Happiness for me is, it's the simple things, right? It's to be able to sit and enjoy the moments that you're experiencing, and instead of thinking about what's next, and how you're gonna get to, this end point. I think it's really the act of living in the moment. And success has changed. That idea has shifted so much for me over the years, and I think that right now it looks like free time, and it looks like some self-awareness, and obviously you need money in the bank, but at the end of the day, none of that matters. So, I think I started this wanting this, maybe wanting to be in the paper and maybe wanting to have the press and all of that stuff, and that didn't happen for us right away. And so I had to work a little bit harder, and so I appreciate the success that we do have a little bit more. And I also, it's not necessarily my identity. Whereas in the beginning, this business was my whole life, and now I get to do other things and I come to work.